Okay, part 3 and the last part, redeeming social media. So, in the first episode, I kept saying that, disclaimers here and there, social media isn't necessarily evil. It just has these tendencies to influence, to change your mind, to push you this way or that way, to cause you to be this guy or that guy. Just recently I learned about the alpha male is different from the beta, different from the sigma. And there's gonna be so many, omega, I don't know what else is there, kappa, so eventually social media is just gonna show you how much culture can be so confusing. So how do we redeem it? Personally, for me, I avoid social media. The only times I get on social media and log on is when I upload one of these rants, or when I feel like I just want to get updated from my friends, see what's happening with them. I use Messenger a lot. I don't use the Facebook app. I use the Messenger app. I use Messenger apps, or sometimes just Discord is easier because it's all about communication. Facebook is just easier for everyone else because everybody has Facebook, right? So what do I use social media for? Specifically Facebook. So let me give you a few. One, I've already mentioned it, just finding out what's up with your friends. If someone is going through a tough time, maybe you can reach out or just see if things are going well in their lives, So I usually use social media for that, or I use Messenger. I chat, how are you, how have you been, things like that. That's one. But I have a rule for that. When it comes to scrolling down your news feed, I have a rule, the 7 scroll, meaning I scroll down 7 times. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I see nothing that catches my attention, if nothing jumps out to me, I'm done for the whole day. I'm not gonna scroll Facebook for the rest of the day. So one of the tips I do is, if you cannot delete your Facebook app on the phone, which is I need it because of uploading the rants, right? But if you cannot delete it, then remove it from the face of your phone, transfer it, put it into a place where it's difficult to find, and then just keep the Messenger there. So I keep the Messenger there in front, but I keep the app, the Facebook main app, somewhere else. So that's one. Secondly is to ask for recommendations. But sometimes I ask, where do I find this? Where do I find that? Facebook has so many of these things. What I use is the algorithm. Now, a lot of people hate the Facebook algorithm because, you search one thing and a lot of stuff of the same thing pops up. People think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. For example, if you are looking for, let's just pretend, if you're looking for LED flashlights, you search it on Facebook, next thing you know, all the LED flashlights come out and they have all these prices. And there are certain things that are on Facebook that are not on Shopee and Lazada. I don't go to Lazada that much anymore, but I do Shopee. There are so many things that Facebook will show you, will recommend to you, that Shopee cannot. And these are a wealth of information and resources or sources that you could actually exploit, you could use, you can find out, and you can go, oh, so there's this, there's that. So that's another way to use Facebook. You can use it to look for recommendations, maybe even get into groups for your career or your business. So I know some people who jumped into Facebook for learning how to become virtual assistants or learning how to become accountants, not to pass the exam, but at least basic accounting. I know some people who got into Facebook groups for learning personal skills like the guitar or, things like that. So Facebook can be useful for those things, joining these groups. I personally benefited so much when I was into carnivorous plants. I still have my carny plants until now. I joined, I think, about 3 or 4, maybe 5 Facebook groups on how to, grow them, and I'm very happy about it, right? So you can use Facebook for those things, right? So one is your career or personal growth. Another is for recommendations. Another is to get updates from your friends via Messenger or social media itself. Of course, you can also build friendships. Now, qualifier. I have made some friends on Facebook. I've made friends online, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just don't deceive yourself. Don't allow yourself to believe that your online friends who you've never met in person are more real or closer to you than the people who actually know you face to face. I'm not saying that all online friendships are fake. I'm not saying that. Again, I've made friendships online, but these friendships are not my accountability partners. They're not my transparency group or accountability group. These are not the people who know me inside out. These are mostly maybe what we can call acquaintances, right? Acquaintances who kind of know you but not really, and you kind of know them but not really, and a lot of you might feel offended if you say, oh, you mean, David, you mean you don't consider me a friend if we've never met? Well, if you're totally honest, I really believe you don't think I know you that well, and you don't really believe you know me that well, right? Let's just be real. Let's be honest here, guys. Don't be offended if you think, oh, David doesn't feel like we're friends. Well, do you really feel that I'm your friend, right? Like, come on. Let's be real here. Okay, so there are some people who you may have had interactions with, but until you've met them face to face, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult, okay? And I hope no one takes offense, but, it is what it is. That's just reality. This is just some real talk. So yeah, you can build friendships. Just don't deceive yourself into thinking that one way or another this is closer or, all of that. Of course, there's another one. Who could forget this? Evangelism. Social media and Facebook is great for evangelism, and it does not beat face-to-face evangelism. It cannot beat face-to-face evangelism, but it does help. It does give us ways to preach the gospel, and that's always a good thing, no matter what media, no matter what avenue. I would say that's a good thing. When it comes to social media, again, I also go online on Facebook. I join Facebook groups that are theological in nature, which I find very, very encouraging. I really learn a lot from these people. I learn a lot in terms of doctrine, theology, practical application, ministry mindsets, perspectives, all of those things. Those are very, very good. But just remember this. Don't think that these groups become your mentors. These cannot serve as your mentors, okay? Books are not mentors. Online pastors are not mentors. Mentors are people who know you, because mentoring or mentorship is supposedly holistic. It's supposed to look at your character, not just how you think or not just thinking of perspectives, okay? One last thing. I'd be very, very careful when it comes to social media, because many times people use social media to promote themselves in some weird ways. Now, self-promotion is fine. I mean, I'm self-promoting, right? I'm self-promoting my rants and stuff. A lot of people self-promote. You got to self-promote if you got to do business, if you want to make your career grow, if you want to do marketing, you got to self-promote, because many times businesses have a face, and the face of the person is the face of the business, and vice versa, unless you've got a mascot like Jollibee. So, just be careful that your self-promotion does not stroke your ego or does not produce what I call the cringe factor. I really don't like the cringe factor. It's when you say, this happens to Christians a lot. It's like, pray for me, people, pray for me. Why? Because I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. It makes me wonder, if you ask prayer from total strangers online on Facebook, it makes me wonder how your relationships are in your local church. Don't you have friends in your local church who know you well enough and you can ask for prayer from them? You got to ask your 5,000 stranger friends online to pray for you, and they don't even know you. When you say, oh, pray for me for something, letter A, and many times the people who know you will probably say, Lord, your will be done in this person's life, because I don't think this prayer request is the right prayer for the person. While everyone else online is like, yeah, sure, we'll be praying for that. As if they know you and think that's what's best for you. As if you know what's best for yourself, when many times your accountability partners and your transparency partners in your accountability group will know that some of the prayer requests you're asking isn't really helpful for you, right? So those are certain things that I would say you can be careful about when it comes to redeeming social media and how to use it. I hope this helped. This is the last part of the series, the mini-series. God bless you guys. I hope this was a blessing to you.